Musicality Mondays, Litty Mondays, Litty Mondays. With Jazicality Mondays, Litty Mondays, Litty Mondays. I know you were looking for something, maybe you'll find it right here, baby.
A Make Your Own Trophy Records production. Hi everyone, welcome back to Musicality Mondays. I'm your host, Jazicality. Thank you so much if you're watching on the podcast platforms or if you're right here on the YouTube channel. Make sure you go check out everything Jazicality and Musicality Mondays, and be sure to stream my brand new song, Positive. Right now, you gotta go do it. Well, actually, you just stay and watch this interview, and then after, go stream Positive and hit that reset button and feel good about life again. Today, we have a very special guest. He's one of my dear friends, and I love him so much. And he is a multi-instrumentalist, a producer. We have Chandler Jarvis, everybody.
Thank you for having me. Glad
Absolutely.
to be here.
It's good to have you, man.
That was a very impressive intro. I feel like anytime
Thank you.
I'm on a microphone and I have to say something, I'm like, this is the list. I immediately forget it, and then I never say it. And then 10 minutes later, I'm like, you know?
Yes.
So that was quite good.
You dropped an album on April 10th, I think?
I think so. That sounds accurate. Well, I've dropped 2 albums recently.
yes.
One of them was with my friend No Mantra. I would say his real name, but he's trying to disconnect himself so he can say whatever he wants in his music without like his job being like, hey, what'd you say? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yes,
I'm also
absolutely.
trying to do that. It doesn't matter, but
It matters.
the thought for me is, as an instrumentalist, I have to care less because I'm actually not saying anything. It's just noises. So it's not like, oh, this is my stance on politics. It's like, this is what the kick sounds like or whatever, you know?
Oh, sure.
So I put out an album with my friend No Mantra called Ghost Adventures, which is on my SoundCloud at Chanjar, I think.
That's
if you
the
search Chanjar. And then before that, I put out a beat tape called Hennepin, Lake and Palmer, which
that's
is
right, yeah.
a joke about Emerson, Lake and Palmer. But I've put out 2 albums as of late. I was also on Crown Shy's EP. I've joined the band Crown Shy,
Okay.
which is a band led by Noah Klein and Show, who are very kind people. Features Nick from the band Pandaline, or previously from the band Pandaline, if you've heard of that band, Anna from the band Rebecca, and Alex from Purple Funk Metropolis.
Oh, wow.
You know
okay.
Alex Brown?
Alex Brown, yep. Super
Yeah.
tall.
Yes.
Gray
very
hair.
talented. Very talented. How many people do you think you have shared a show bill with?
Oh, my
That's
God.
probably an impossible question to answer, but I'm like, anytime I ask, do you know blank? You're like, oh, yeah, I know.
Yes.
Like, do you know Kevin McGamble? Yeah, I know Kevin McGamble. Like,
That's my
of course you
dog,
do.
bro. Shout out, Kev.
Do you think it's in like the 50s or the hundreds or like the 200s?
I think that's like, I love your questions, dude. And like, I love seeing you on Instagram asking questions like that, because damn. But I think because I had a different band and I've been in the music scene for about 8 years, I'll say like probably like the 200s. Like if we're talking about people and not just bands, like yeah, if you think about that, like you got to multiply the band by the number of people or something like that. But yeah, I think so.
That makes sense.
It really does, because like, you know, I never really think about it until I'm out and, you know, people say hi to me and I'm like, oh my God, like they like me, yay.
They do. The people love you.
No, yesterday was so special. I loved being at that show and seeing you on stage. It was so special. And like, hell yeah to you, man. Like, get up there and play that bass for people, you know?
Thank you.
Yeah.
For context, I was
Oh, yes.
just last night playing the Ice House with Sophie J's band,
Yeah.
which has, am I going to name everyone in every band? But Wayne, Matt, Sophie, Styx, and I. Styx, this is an aside, but Styx, his uncle, I think. This is an aside on an aside, but you had a keys player who goes by Keys.
Yes.
Maybe still do. But Sticks goes by Sticks. I'm like,
Yeah.
he's a drummer. And I'm like,
That's-
are Sticks and Keys related?
Hilarious.
Because they're both like 30 to some age black
Are they
men.
related?
They aren't related.
They aren't. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So this aside, we're turning back around.
Okay.
Anyway, Sticks,
I can't
his
do this.
uncle started Walker West Music School,
Really?
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And
honestly.
frankly, I don't know enough on Walker West to speak on it, but a thing that I've noticed is when I'm talking to someone who is immensely musically talented at keys or drums, and I'm like, tell me your story. What's the
Tell me
story?
your story.
David Smith on Musicality
He
Monday, Eli on Musicality
yes,
Monday.
yes,
They're
you
like,
watched the show.
Walker
Let's
West,
go, dude.
they sure know how to cook him at Walker West. And then I met Sticks through Sophie J Band, and he was like, oh yeah, Walker West, my uncle. So
Oh my gosh, dude.
at some point, not today, I will ask some questions about that to be like, what's going on?
Like, how do you
What
guys?
was sprinkled in the water
right.
in Walker West to make it so so accomplished? I was saying I was playing at the Ice House with
Right,
Sophie J.
Of course.
Excuse me. And then Room 3,
Mm.
Jazz, and Backwood Drift. And it was a
Yes.
very black lineup. It was a very
so black.
talented
so
lineup.
good.
It was nice. First time seeing Backwood Drift. That was
Really?
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, they,
Big group of people.
Big group.
of people.
I was just thinking to myself the other day, how many people are in that group? You have Solora, the Essence, Yana the Moon Cricket. It's just Jimmy. I'm giving them their nicknames. We have Frequency, Wayne Doe, Rottweiler, and we had that new singer. Do you remember her name?
It might have been Uzo.
It was Uzo. Shout out to Uzo. Shout out to all you guys. You guys killed it yesterday.
I
Sophie
think
J, all you
Vinny
guys.
Franco might be there as well.
Yeah, he does some features with them sometimes. Yeah.
And Nevaeh. I met Nevaeh.
And Nevaeh. How many people was that? Like 8, 10? I don't know.
When we were counting for drink tickets,
Oh yeah.
10 was the number. And
That's
that's
cool.
not in a bad way, but that's kind of silly. Imagine keeping track of 10 people's schedules.
No, honestly, but it makes people come out,
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, should I just like add people in my band so like I can like have people come to the show every time? Like, it was a really good turnout. So
Yeah. I wonder if this is just where my brain's going. Money isn't the most important thing, but I wonder if that evens out, because I'm thinking of
Yeah.
someone who 10 people in a band, and then all those 10 people are inviting their crowd, so you have more of a web versus, for example, my friend Lee, DJ Lemony.
DJ
At
Lemony.
something on Instagram. I don't know.
I think
it's right
like,
here.
Wait, let me see if I get it. Like future jazz. Like this is gonna be so cool if you're 612_Lemony.
I think that's correct. I can picture it in my mind's eye.
I probably spend too much time on social media, but like then I get to do this, and then people think it's cool. So whatever.
It's useful for your art and your craft and your network. I think that's a beautiful thing.
Very true.
Lee DJs, and I have at some point been hanging out with Lee at my house, and someone's like, "Hey Lee, do you want to do this gig?" And then Lee is like, "Let me check." Yeah, I'll do it. And that's all it takes, as opposed to like, is everyone free? Do the schedules line up? Do
true.
we have time to rehearse beforehand and
Okay.
that sort of thing? And that in comparison with Backwood Drift of 10 people, I'm just thinking in my head, which one
Like which one would
which
I
one
want to
is
be?
better? Right. I think, truthfully, I'd rather be a Lee than a Backwood Drift. No offense to anybody,
yeah.
but I'm like, that seems logistically this is no longer a judgment of like,
No, yeah.
or never was a judgment of a band. I'm just saying like,
Just like
in terms of
in
big
your
group or small
personal
group. I like
preferences.
small group.
You know what? Yeah, it's really good for me to be in the middle. That's just a lot of people,
How many people are in your band as of today?
As of today, I have Kevin, KG Beats 3000 is his name on Instagram. No, it's KG Beats 300. I put 3000 and I was like, oh my god.
3,000 is
Is
so
it-
much cooler than 300. Almost 10 times cooler, frankly.
Anyway, and then I have the Husky drummer, that's Sam, and then Ian Madupang. I think it's Ian.ma on Instagram. And then I have my background singer, Whitner Schellingerhut. It's quite a name. And I don't. I think that's his Instagram. Anyway, I have 5 people, including myself.
It's a good number.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I
that.
do want to add another background singer eventually, just to just liven the sound more. I also have my background vocals on there, but I just want to bring some live to it,
Yeah. Do you use anything to treat your vocals live, or are you just singing straight microphone into the mix? Do you have any fancy pedals or
cool
effects?
No. I do straight voice into the mic, and then maybe whatever is already programmed into the what's it called? The
Mixer?
yeah, whatever is already in. No, I think I put some reverb on there.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Into Logic Pro.
Nice.
Logic Pro X.
One time I was watching the band Men I Trust. Have you heard of Men I Trust?
No.
Highly recommend.
All
I was
right.
watching Men I Trust at 7th Street Entry, and the lead singer, she was playing guitar. The band makeup, I think, drummer, bassist, keyboardist, lead singer, who was also a guitarist.
Cool.
And they had no background singers. And I was at 7th Street, so I was close enough that I could see the whole stage. There's no one hiding back over there. And she had background vocals. I was like, how are you? What's going on? And I could tell it wasn't a track because of how the timing was going. And I could tell that was something generative. Maybe that's not the right word, because it would change for major and minor chords. It would be a different interval. I was like, what's going on there? So I snuck up and I peeked. And she had TC Electronics Harmony Singer 2. I think that's the name.
Love those.
It's right here. It's written right here.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, it is. I did my
I'm
research.
giving you so much work. You don't actually have to put it right here.
I'm going to do it, because, I'm going to look back and be like, let me find this bitch.
It could.
Do you say
This
TC
might
Helicon, you
be
said?
TC. I think it's TC Helicon Harmony Singer 2.
Okay, because I
It's
look at those,
blue.
because I used to have a red one. I don't remember what it was, but I wanted a TC Helicon.
The end of this story is I think you should get one, because
Oh.
it was guitar plugged into the pedal, microphone plugged into the pedal,
Yeah.
and the harmonies were going based on what the guitar was playing.
Absolutely.
So if you're playing a major chord, it's playing major chord harmonies,
Yeah.
major harmonies above and below. And if you're playing a minor chord, it's playing minor chord harmonies above and below. And
Absolutely.
I got one, and then I
Oh.
returned it after a month because I don't sing publicly, and it's some hundreds of dollars.
Oh my
You
God.
could find it used, but it wasn't worth it for me to keep, because I'll sing in this once a month in my house and then toss it in a box. I'm like,
Okay.
that's not worth it. But you sing about the town. You make money off your singing. It could be worth it. Point is, I would like to hear you. Never mind. You have background singers. Don't
no.
cheat them out of a job. I take it all back. Forget. Erase this. Erase this.
No, because there's gonna be times where the background singers won't be there, the band won't be there, and I'll be alone on a guitar, which does happen sometimes. I don't know if I'll take as many of the acoustic gigs. I don't know, but those are really beautiful sometimes, and it'd be cool if I had 3 voices.
Yeah.
It's been a couple of years since I've used one of those things, but always wanted a TC Helicon, dude. So
Good taste.
Don't
Good
erase.
taste.
write everything in pen. That's important to you. How'd you get into production?
I don't remember the specific push, the exact moment,
sure.
but at some point in college, I became interested in samplers, probably just listening to hip hop beats. There's a video on YouTube where someone has the song New York I Love You by LCD Sound System, and it's a screen recording of YouTube on a 2006 Mac, and they have this video, and they pull up another video with Miles Davis playing, I forget what it is, but something at the Gallows. He had a live recording they had a film in France or something like that. I'm getting the details wrong. And they're like, we should get Miles Davis to do the soundtrack. And Miles Davis was like, I'm going to just show up and improvise and have these people follow me in improvisation. So in my understanding, he was like watching the movie and playing along with it to be like, oh, it's feeling like this. The person is, oh, and I'm going to play wah, 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 or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
So this person has these two songs lined up and then figured out that they're the same key and the same time. So he just starts this YouTube video, LCD Sound System, and starts this video, Miles Davis. I'm going to send you a link to this afterwards.
It sounds really
fantastic. And then, so it's this like moody acoustic song, and then in comes Miles Davis as like a second instrument. I was like, wait a second, that's some magical addition, because they aren't supposed to line up, but someone heard this and I was like, oh, that sounds like it could lay on top of this. So I bought like an old sampler that wasn't good, and I returned it, and I bought one more that wasn't good, and I returned it. And then at some point in college, I think I bought an OP1, which is a synth and beat machine all in one. Excuse me. It's like $1,000, and it's yay big, and it's not worth it. It sounds kind of cool. It's one of those like all-in-one sort of things that tech nerds or music nerds froth at the mouth over, but it's not a good piece of gear. So I sold it for $900 like 4 years later, and I feel very happy about that.
Not bad,
progression.
You know?
And then I bought actually what it was, I was working, I don't know if the timing is exactly correct, but I was working at a grease cleaning job with Evan Espinoza in between high school and college at, I don't know what his ad is, at Espinoza Robles Percussion or something like that.
I think so. Espinoza_Robles_ percussion. Thank you.
Very nice. Very nice. We were working a job together. There's a sampler called a Roland SP404, and producers like Madlib and Jay Dilla and many, many more who I can't even think of at the moment. I think RZA from the Wu-Tang Clan had one.
Ooh,
There's
nice.
a long list of people who have been using these. About that big. They're fairly portable. I think they were released in like 1998 and then 2006 or something like that. And they were going to come out with a new model while Evan and I were working at this grease cleaning job. I was like, Evan, you should get one of these. I don't know why I was telling him to get one first. I think it was because I had the OP1 at the time. I'm like, I've already spent $1,000, so I shouldn't be spending more.
You're like, can you spend it?
It's like a $400 thing, which is still fairly expensive, frankly.
Yeah.
But Evan got one. He started making beats. I got one soon after. I sold my OP1, and then I had this thing. And I was like, I sure hope this can be my Swiss Army knife so I don't have to buy any more gear, because it can get ridiculous if you're buying like a laptop and headphones and this and this and that.
Me thinking about my setup.
It's to good end. It's towards the creation of art.
True.
What's the thought? I am too stressed about money, generally speaking, probably because of the way that I was brought up. No offense to my parents, just the result of hardships. That's the word. There it is.
You just be so honest and shit. Like, it's like, what the fuck, dude? Like,
sometimes you just gotta tell it like it is, you know? So I got this machine hoping that it would be the thing that I can make all my music on, and it has been the thing that I can make all my music on, aside from needing a laptop to get it onto the internet. Like,
okay.
I use free software other than that, so I make all my beats on the 404, and then I record them into Reaper on my computer, which is free. And then I upload it to SoundCloud, which is also free. I want to do something better than SoundCloud, maybe Bandcamp. The album I put out with my friend No Mantra, we put on Bandcamp, but that was mostly his idea. I want to fully own the idea of putting it somewhere, like fully own the effort and process of doing so.
So can you not put it on Spotify because is it mostly sampling?
It is mostly sampling. I think probably I could and get away with it. I just have never I've never tried, because using DistroKid or something is one more step, And at that point, I'm like, I'm so
done.
done with this. I actually hate this music. No offense to me, but
no offense to me, it's
I never
crazy.
want to hear this again. I'm lying. But whenever I make music, I obsess in the process, and I'm trying to wean that down to where it's just like send it, finish it not as quickly as possible. But like, don't over obsess. Get through a process.
That's fair.
But I find myself once I'm like naming the songs and picking artwork, I'm like, I've spent my 40 hours for the week on this. I gotta get out. That's hyperbole, you know.
I do get that because it's just so hard, you know.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, especially when it's like if you're doing math, you can tell when you're done. But if you're doing music, you're like, I could take something away, could add something even,
dude,
you know.
So for positive, I had it and I was like, oh, this is perfect. You know, I don't need to do anything else to this. I get it mastered. I'm listening to it like every day. I'm just like, this is so healing. This is exactly what I want my audience to hear. And then, like, I do vocal rehearsals with my background vocalist Whitner, and you know I have to make background vocals for him to listen to because there wasn't a part for the part that I wanted him to have, like the mid part, the mid vocal, and so I was making a mid vocal. But then I started hearing some other shit, right? It's all mastered. It's all on CD, baby. And I was like, I was so pissed. Sam was in the bed. He was like listening to me, and I'm just like, because oh my god, it sounds so good. So I'm just like, you know what, fuck it. I'm just gonna like do this for the live shows, and that's something that's really cool to like be able to say, because like you look at all these bands that like their radio version sounds different than the live, and I think that's why they were like, fuck, what I'm gonna do? I want people to hear this, but I also like the original version.
I think that's so valid.
I was so mad. I'm like, why you ain't think about this like months ago? Like, I was so mad.
I think that's the best way to go. I feel like I completely hear you, and like the idea of wanting to polish or perfect, but I also feel like this isn't about you, but I feel like a lot of people get in their way. I'm speaking to the audience now.
Yes, it's
a lot
about
of people
you guys.
get in their way by means of perfectionism,
Sure.
of like, oh, I don't want to put something out because it has to be this good. It has to reach this level of excellence. And I'm of the opinion that you can just put whatever out and then make it better in the future, like do the next thing. Like the concept of inspiration not being a finite resource, but something that passes through you. Like we are conduits towards expression. Like a song is coming through me and it's headed out this way, and it's headed out this way. And like in the future, another one will come and it'll head out this way. Like we as people who are able to create art will always, I mean, unless there's some tragic accident, we'll always be able to make music. I hope that never happens.
Why would you say something
I
like
hope
that?
I'm not speaking into existence. You know why I thought of that, actually?
No way.
I was at work. I got to try real hard not to dox myself, but my boss's boss was talking about the band, I think it's Def Leppard. Rick Allen was the drummer for Def Leppard.
Okay.
And he got into a car accident and lost one of his arms. And it was as they were heading towards fame. I think they were fairly famous at the time.
Okay.
And what someone would expect was that this band would just find a new drummer. But they're like, no, this is our friend. We're not going to abandon him.
That's right.
We care about this guy. So they rigged up his drum to be effective one-handed and
I heard
with
about this.
kick pedals, or I think he was one of the first people to have drum triggers. Like I saw a Rottweiler last night with a pad that has like, boom, you hit this and it does a
so
fancy sample or whatever. I think they had that going on, but foot operated. So he would be playing hi-hat with his left hand and then like snare triggers with his foot or something like that.
That's so sweet.
Yeah. So.
And impressive.
I just burped. they wouldn't have known if I hadn't said it. The reason I was thinking of it was because I was saying, like, yeah, we all possess the ability to create harp. And I was like, well, not unless you lose your hand. And I was like, but there was that guy who lost his hand, and the band still held him down. End of the story is they went on to become more famous. Like, you would think that they peaked, but no, Def Leppard got more and more famous, and they had their biggest album, and then it went on tour, and they're still, I think, making music. I don't know. Checked so much,
because who doesn't want to see that? You know, like see him progress after such a loss. You know, something that not many people could like come back from.
Very inspirational.
Yeah.
I was watching. The reason I heard about this story was because I popped into my boss's office, who's like this high up in in fancy job world, and he's like, "Oh, let me show you a whole bunch of Def Leppard videos at like 3:30 p.m. for an hour." I was like,
"Oh my gosh.
You know what? This is better than what I was doing. So let's run it." Actually, but he never. Well, he eventually did because I'm here currently, but like. When it felt natural for the time to be over, he's like, nah, one more. Like, another one. What the heck?
That's insane. Okay. Flavor World. How'd you get into that?
So, this is a long story, so keep me on track. I could keep it very, very brief, but the summary is I was a host of a house show venue, which you're aware of, with Katie and Evan. Shout out to the Golden Goose Lounge.
Shout out.
At something. It's written right here.
Yeah, it's like golden goose dot, no, the dot golden dot goose, but zeros instead of O's for goose, I think.
That sounds right.
I'll be looking at stuff.
I like it. At that house show venue, the Golden Goose Lounge, which was also our house at the time, which I feel like that's the case for most people. Had a great time. Hosted many bands. In fact,
oh my gosh,
sweatshirt, the one I have just removed.
I should have known this was.
This band Monsoon.
Oh!
I think they're from Georgia or something like that.
Was that the first band?
It was not the first band.
Damn.
I wish though. They were a band from Georgia or Mississippi or somewhere. Which I don't know which way is south. Somewhere south.
I don't know.
They had a local show in the Twin Cities. They were touring. I don't know where they were going, but they were going to go to some bar or some house show or something like that up from the south. And they got canceled on for whatever reason. And they reached out through their network and like, do you know anyone who could host us short notice? And someone hit up the Golden Goose Lounge, just like, could you host this band Monsoon from out of state? And we were like, sure. Or Katie was like, sure, because she was running the booking. So we did. And got some great merch from it. Wow. Michaela, my girlfriend, has a matching pink one. Shout out to my beautiful and illustrious girlfriend, Michaela. She was also a guest on Musicality Monday. Check that out. Go stream that, and then go stream Jazicality's musical positive.
Oh, I got it. Okay. _ Kella Allen.
Nice.
No, it's actually _ Kella Allen. It's Kella and then LLEN. There's no two A's.
So I was a host at the Golden Goose Lounge. We hosted many bands, including Room 3 and including Beck as a solo artist.
Oh, okay.
Or probably not a solo artist. I think he had Rottweiler for, it's now called Worm Dove. Shout out Worm Dove. So Beck had been a guest at our house, or a musician on the bill. And Beck was also the host of Flavor Jam. And at some point, Beck was like, hey, I'm busy this month. Can you and Will? Will was our sound person at the Golden Goose Lounge. Will didn't live there at the time, but was definitely still part of the team. In fact, one of the most important parts of the teams, because without Will, there would be no sound.
I was going to say, he was my sound guy, so.
So Beck asked Will and I to host 2024, like middle of the year or something like that. Because Beck had to go out of town or something like that. So we hosted, and then eventually around the end of the year, Beck, for whatever reason, was like, I don't want to do this anymore. someone please take up the helm so that
Yay.
Flavor Jam survives. And Will and I were like, sure, we'll do it. So then there were a couple months we were just like, I guess we'll make it happen. And then after that,
Yay.
we became more intentional, met up with Solomon, met up with Drew, got connected with those folks. Lucas as well. Shout out to Lucas.
Lucas on the internet.
Lucas on the internet. That one's memorable. Shout out to Lucas for
is,
good,
I'm sorry.
strong personal branding.
I'm gonna put so many ads like we didn't even catch all of them, and I'm like, but I remember that one because they
That
always
was a
everybody
slapper.
always like wants to make sure that they say Lucas, and I'm just like, this guy must be a great person. Is he?
Lucas is very nice. I think he's quite kind. I feel like it may stem from Lucas being more behind the scenes than many people.
That makes
I feel
sense.
like Drew I can't say his at out loud. It's like at DREMMERD _ or something
I
like
always
that.
say Dremmered.
Yeah, yes indeed. Drew is fairly quiet and behind the scenes, but I think Lucas, in terms of Flavor World, is even more quiet and behind the scenes.
Makes sense.
So for me, it's like, oh, gotta shout out Lucas as well. Can't forget Lucas.
Can't forget him.
What's the thought? So that's how I made it into the Flavor Jam of it all.
Okay.
I'm fairly affiliated with Flavor World as well, the overall brand. I helped them clean up for their grand opening. They got a grant through Minneapolis Vibrant Storefronts grant, which connects business owners with, I think, vacant storefronts that have just been like unattended for a while. And they're like, here, you can renovate this, and I don't know the details, but like either no rent or low rent, and like a win-win of having more community engagement and more vibrant storefronts, for lack of a better word. Michaela is actually more active in it than me. Like, I show up to the jam meetings, which happen once a month, and she shows up to like the Flavor World meetings that happen like once a week. I'm like, be easy, you got it.
Be easy, got you, bro. I'll take care of Buster.
But yeah, shout out to
cat.
Buster at Buster the cat.
Wait, you guys see?
No.
Aw,
Could-
I have one for mine.
Maybe there'll be one by the time. Nah, I'm not making a cat.
No,
Instagram.
it's too. I haven't posted on there in like 3 years.
So much work.
And for what?
She's doing a great job. I'm trying to big her up because she was so nice to me on this podcast. She's like, "Oh, he's wonderful."
Oh my God, she was. There was a whole Chandler section in the interview. It was great.
Yeah. I'm saying things publicly for praise and peer pressure.
Huh?
She makes jewelry, and I
yes.
want people to know about it. One, so that they purchase her jewelry, but two, so that people know how great she is at arts, and three, so that it encourages her to do more. I think that having that as knowledge is probably a good thing.
Does she how does she sell it? Just like in person, or?
So she has been a part of some art fairs, I think.
Just let me know.
I do know for sure that she has like a stash of made jewelry, frankly, all over our house, but in places in our house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us about Flavor Jam. What goes on?
What goes on at Flavor Jam?
And what's the location? When does it happen?
Oh, that's such a good question. Flavor Jam is a monthly community jam at the Green Room. It is open to all ages and skill levels. I don't know if all ages is true. There is one child who shows up with his father. So I do know that if you show up with your parent or guardian, you can get in. But it's for sure open to 18 through 21. You don't have to be of drinking age. My role is currently band leader. Will's role is MC and host. At some point, we were doing a dance round of who does what and who does what. I think we have clearly defined roles at this point, which is good for me. I'm like, oh, I can not speak into the microphone. Ironic as I'm doing it right now.
Yes.
And Will can do all of the thank you very much for coming out tonight, all that sort of stuff. So what I do is every month. Oh, let me go more into just telling people what it is. You'll show up at the Green Room on the third Wednesday of the month. You can follow Flavor World if you want to be updated on timing, location, theme, that sort of thing. But it's at the Green Room in Uptown. Show up at 7 through 10:30. It starts at 7, ends at 10:30. You can sign up on the board and you will be assigned to a group and you'll go up on stage and you'll make music with that group of people. We're working on having like a prep area where people can meet up and get to know each other, pick a chord progression or something like that.
Yeah,
get musically acquainted, maybe start a friendship before you
Yes.
get up on stage. And then go make 8 minutes of music on a fairly good professional stage, which I think is really good because it gives people the exposure towards that without the pressure of like being like starting a band to get there. You know what I mean? My role is assembling a band of talented musicians who can improvise and learn a few songs and then play maybe half an hour of music. And what I find odd is it's probably the shortest gig that I will have, like compared to Sophie J.
Oh, for sure.
That's like 8 songs, 40 minutes or something like this. This is 2-ish songs for 20 minutes and much simpler songs, like maybe 2 chords or something like that, 3 chords. And it is the most difficult musical endeavor that I'm a part of, because with Sophie J or with Crown Shy the band, we'll get together and we'll practice and we'll have 2 hours to run through a set and then 2 hours the next week and 2 hours the next week and then we'll have a gig or something like that. But with this, I have to go off of the confidence I have in the musicians because they're just showing up, setting up, and maybe we'll get to sound check, maybe we won't before doors. And so we go in with no practice. And if you see someone in the Flavor Jam house band, they are probably, I mean, maybe we're doing something rehearsed. We definitely do some rehearsed songs, but like half of the time it's like, oh, what are we? Oh, we're doing this. We're playing it A minor. Let's play it A minor and then down and then down. You know what I mean? And frankly, I'm trying to do less of that because I mean, it works. It makes good sounds quite often, but it's stressful, or I feel stressed asking people to do that.
Okay.
I found that when I imagine an emotion for someone else, I'm like, oh, you must be real stressed out about that. I'm like, actually, it's me who's stressed out about that.
Actually, sorry.
I'm projecting, actually. But yeah, we'll come in, not much practice. Well, no group practice. People will practice at home or learn the songs at home, but we usually won't have time to run through the songs before doors. So people will be coming in just, you gotta be on the money. And I think that is asking a lot of the musicians. So anyone who I have asked to be part of the Flavor Jam house band, that means that I respect you highly as a musician and I have a good amount of trust in your skills and ability to adapt. So thank you.
Shout out. Yeah, that is quite, like, it's really awesome, like, if you can do that, you know what I mean? And it's really magical. Because, like, how cool is that? Like, you know, coming together and, like, yeah, like, just complimenting each other with the sounds that you've, you know, taken the moments to practice and everything.
A thing that I've found as I talk to musicians, I feel like there are 2 types. Maybe it's just guitarists or instrumentalists, but I feel like I meet people who were raised reading sheet music. I think I notice it most with piano. They're like, I was raised reading sheet music, and I can sit down at the piano, learn a song by reading it, and it's a very accomplished, skilled musician, but they can't improvise. They can't learn by ear. They are very structured in their musical learning and musical output. And then there are other people, I'm more on this end, who I can't read sheet music at all, but if someone's like, hey, listen to this and play it, I'll be like, okay, I can do that. And I think that's very interesting for brains, because if you were to switch either of those people, they would look like they have no musical skill. If you were to throw the pianist into a jam, they'd be like, I simply don't know how to proceed. Or if you were to throw me on stage with sheet music, I'd be like, well, I'll play something else, but I won't be playing this song that you have on sheet music. Question for you.
Oh, what's up?
Do you think you are 100% on either side, or are you like 60-40? Are you a rehearsed person? Are you a formal structure person, or like an improv type of person, or neither? Secret third thing maybe.
Oh my god. I'm like, what would that be? So if you're talking about singing, I'm the person who can improvise, and I don't really know how to read sheet music. But if you're talking about guitar, I'll need the chords to know what you're doing. That's a very interesting. That's one of your Instagram topics that you should post, man. Because that you just know how to like take something interesting and make it more interesting by like asking about it and saying your piece on it. I think that's something that we always think about, but we never really talk about, you know, because I'm like, man, I wish I could play with my band and just know what they're doing. And I can with my voice, but like I'm a little strapped when it comes to my strapped guitar. But yeah, I'm getting a little better. I try things sometimes. Remember when I played your bass at Golden Goose? I was kind of like doing my thing, you know?
Hell yeah.
I was only on one string and maybe another one, but I sounded pretty good.
I do remember at Golden Goose Jams, you were one of the people who I found expressed the most vocal confidence.
Thank you.
And talent as well. Like, not only were you singing quite well, but like when you were singing, I was like, oh, you know what you're doing with the voice. So like commanding the room. Come here, room. I'm commanding you. That's what you were doing. It was quite nice.
It was that was such a special space for me. Like I went in and you guys were just so nice and you were all hyping me up, and like the last show I did there was like one of my favorites because I was performing my unreleased song Boundaries, which it'll come out, don't worry. Everybody really wants that song. I really love it.
I do like that song.
Thank you. And that the ending is my favorite part, when I go really high and, you know, after the song, you know, I'm talking, doing my little spiel or whatever, and then, you know, I'm just like, I love the part when I go like, and then people are like, yeah, like you just did that without thinking about great. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is like, I don't know, that was just it was such a happy moment for me, because I'm like, you know, yeah, because I really worked my ass off, like singing and like wanting to get to that point of like being able to do high notes like that without worrying about it, being able to what is it called, belt, after being told I'd never be able to belt, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy.
Who said that?
Girl, a hater. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Somebody who didn't really like know like that you can be trained to do something like I was a kid, you know, like you never know what you're gonna be able to do. I never thought I'd be a rapper, like for real, like, and then I do it. So even if you sound like Minnie Mouse, dude, which I've been told I do, you can do it. You know what I mean?
I like it.
So when's your rap album coming out? No, I'm kidding.
You know, I got this microphone. My name is Chandler, and I'm here to say, my name is Chandler in a major way.
No, like no. If you were a rapper, what would your rapper name be?
I have no good answer, frankly. I thought about it. The closest thing, I'm going to tell this story on wax right here.
Oh, sure. Wax is dope.
I worked at the University of Minnesota Duluth's food services department. So like working in their food court.
Oh, okay.
In a college. So imagine they have a cafeteria upstairs. I don't work at the cafeteria, but there's a food court downstairs, like a mall food court, but in a university.
Very cool.
And I have this shirt that says UMD Food Services. And the people who work at the cafeteria upstairs have the same shirt. And I get a free meal at the cafeteria because I work for food services. And I would go to get my free meal every day before my shift. So like 3 times a week, I was going to this place wearing my UMD Food Services, matching the employee shirts, and like, oh, I'm here like to get my lunch, and then I'm headed downstairs to work. So people don't know me, but they know me because they're like, oh, you're a coworker. I'll give you a good sandwich or whatever.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. And I had a name tag that I wore the first day. So I pop in. And there's a manager there. He's not wearing a t-shirt. He's wearing a polo shirt to set him above the rest of the people.
I'm better than y'all.
Exactly. This guy's, I'm not going to say his name, actually.
Yeah, I don't know.
Dox this guy.
You're trying to, like, everybody. Like, everybody can get it.
Watch out. Watch out. So he sees my name, and he's like, registers. He's like, hello, Chandler, whatever. And then from there on out, I never wore my name tag, but I wear the shirt.
Why?
I don't know.
You didn't like him knowing your name?
What it was I would strap like the name tag to the back of my visor and put it in because I didn't want to like bring my visor into the place. They had like little cubbies where you could put your backpack or whatever. So I'd take off my name tag. And then at some point he mixed my name up and he thought my name was Chancellor.
Oh,
and I was like, wait a second. Chancellor Palpatine from Star Wars. Pretty cool. I'm not a big Star Wars fan, but like that guy's like
That's
the
hilarious.
most, he's the top of the food chain Star Wars wise, I think. Evan, Star Wars nerd, check me on this if you even care. And also Chancellor of Students. Sometimes the Chancellor of Students would be walking around. I'm like, for 1 second, I can imagine I'm the Chancellor of Students.
Was he black?
No.
Oh, okay. I
but
mean,
just off of the name, I'm like,
I
someone's
know, like,
calling me Chancellor. I'm like, I
like-
feel a little fancy.
Like, I'm in charge of these students.
Exactly.
That's
My
hilarious.
well-deserved clout or whatever.
My well-deserved clout.
So I have this little bit in my head where I'm like walking into the cafeteria and this guy's like, hello, Chancellor. I'm like, Palpatine. I'm like, hey, almost said his name. I'm just going to say his name. His name was Floyd. I'm like, hey, Floyd. It's like, hey, Chancellor. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of silly. That's kind of funny. And then
good.
one day, after like 6 months straight of that, I wore my name tag one time.
Yeah.
And I walked through and he was like, hey, Chandler. I mean, no, he started out by saying Chancellor because that's what he's like, hey, Chancellor. I mean, Chandler. And I was like, oh, no, because I like.
You liked it, yeah.
Yeah. Well, mostly I felt bad because I was like,
Well,
I roped you into this. Like this
I
was a
made
bit
you
for
think.
me. But like, I'm lying to you. Actually, I was lying to you
You're
by
like, you
not
thought,
correcting you.
you thought my name. That's
I saw
crazy.
his face just drop. I was
He's
like, oh, man, I didn't. Come back, Floyd. I didn't mean it.
Come back, please. I've been in situations like that. But I do hate when, like, it's so funny, like, when, I don't know. No, never mind. I don't know. Like, that's just one of those, that's like, do you know those awkward moments I was having you guys do in reality, the music?
I do.
It's like that.
And
So now, like, you really get it. Like, it's like
you
that.
walk into him.
You really do.
It happens to the best of us. Oh,
It's so funny, dude.
the point of telling that story, my rap name would be Chancellor of Students.
Of students is crazy. Like, why the of students part, though?
I don't know.
Wait, because everybody's your student and you can teach them something.
Exactly.
Because that's you got to be hard if you're in the rap game. I mean, you don't, because, like, I mean, like, I'm not in the rap game, but I like to, I like to rap. I don't know. Do you have to be hard if you're in the rap game, or can you just be a rapper?
I don't think so. I
Alright.
feel like you can be whatever you want. I think it's expression as long as it's true to something. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
I like to rap about positivity, but not like in a like, what is it called? A shtick. Not like that. But like I do rap about my like honest feelings. So yeah.
I like that.
Swaggeroo.
I touched this. Does that break anything?
No.
All right, good.
You notice things nobody else notices. And it's great. I really actually I appreciate it. Like, what do you mean does it break? So like
I've worked with some microphones that have an off switch. I'm
okay.
like, oh, what if I'm muted? And then we're half an hour in,
I'm literally gonna cry from laughter. He's like,
These are nice microphones.
thank you. I borrowed them from my father. Shout out to you, Dad, at the Verbal Storm. I think that's what it is. Or there's probably an underscore. You guys will see it. But to the people listening, good luck. I'm sorry. Go watch the video, please. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
That makes sense. I was trying to figure out.
Like,
I wasn't judging, but I was like, why are you trying to say them out loud? Because
I
you could just write them down. But I remembered that There are listeners who don't watch. That's so smart. You've done
Thank
this
you.
before.
No, because this is literally the first episode that I've tried to do it. And because and I kept going because you were getting a kick out of it, I'm like, okay, it's a bit. Now let's keep it going. Because I'm just like, oh my God, like people listening probably are just like listening to the names and not thinking anything of it. But like some of these people, like, I mean, all of these people, oh, fuck. All of these people you should like go check out because they're artists in the scene. And like, especially if you're living in the scene, you should check them out because you never know who you can make some art with, man. And, if you're in a different state, you never know who you can, like, make some music with, buy some art from. So listen to all these ads. Find them if you're on a different episode if I haven't sent them out loud because I probably haven't. It's just so much to think about, but usually I talk to people by their ads. It's crazy. But, yeah.
There are many people. Shout out to brand recognition, but I met Solara the Essence yesterday.
Oh, you'd never met her before.
Never met her. I was like, oh, you must be Solara the Essence.
Whatever. That's so crazy to me that people are going to meet her with that name because I know her as Charmaine.
That
know what
makes
I mean?
sense, yeah.
I'm just like, oh, he just called her Solara the Essence. You're the first person who's called her that to me.
Gotcha.
That I've heard.
Is it a recent name change?
Uh-huh.
Gotcha.
So she was on the show, and then literally like a couple months later, she changed her name. So I changed the episode, but I can't change the video. So on there it says Charmaine, but on the video it says Solara the Essence. So yeah, a little fun fact about the history of the show.
I like it.
Thank you. Let me think. Is there another topic that you want to bring to the show that you've been thinking about, like musically, or like when you time travel and sample the same sample that somebody else sampled, and you're like, that was my idea.
I was thinking about how at some point, and people have covered this before, this is just history, but at some point guitars were acoustic or hollow body with a pickup in them. And then the Fender guy made widely available solid body guitars, which made them able to be amplified louder. And then they made big amplifiers. Same guy made big amplifiers. Up until then, they were just like boutique desktop amplifiers. And it was like up until the 1950s, I think, all guitars and basses were acoustic with pickups. You'd have a big old instrument, like a stand-up bass with a pickup in it, and you could only play so loud because eventually you'd get feedback in the acoustic instrument, and sort of like a microphone feedback, that awful noise. It would do that
inside of it.
Yeah, because the sound would bounce from, I think, like into the hole, into the pickup, back into the hole, back into the pickup.
The hole. I'm sorry.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Sort of like when it's going from the speaker to the... Oh, no, what it is, I don't know the electronics that much, but the microphone would have to be sensitive to pick up the acoustics. So then if it were being amplified, then it would go back into the microphone.
Okay.
I think.
That's crazy.
But then someone invented pickups and put them in a bass.
Ooh.
Which is quite nice. The thing that I've been thinking about is by giving it pickups, turning it from an upright bass into a sideways bass, I feel like that changes like the hand vocabulary of it all. Because if you picture someone playing like a jazz bass, you have to you had to be deep into it, and you had to be stretching and that sort of thing. This is my impression of a jazz bass.
It's good. It's
but
great.
Then I think of like Jimi Hendrix or Pink Floyd or Led Zeppelin or Black Sabbath, for example, which come out 10-ish, 20-ish years after the invention of the bass being turned sideways.
Okay.
And they have such a different, like, vocabulary, for lack of a better word. I think part of it is frets as well, because they added frets at that time, which is major. But, like, I wish I could carry music around with me. It's just like, oh, listen to Miles Davis and then listen to Jimi Hendrix. You'd be like, oh, don't those sound so different? Because I swear if people listen to them, you'd be like, oh, that's it's night and day. Hearing a bassist in like a jazz band, like a dum 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 dum, and then like, that's pretty
such a
good.
good example. Like,
And then like Jimi Hendrix jazz bass is so much like more structured, for lack of a better word, or more like a riff or something like that.
you gotta
And
do
I
the
think-
sound. No, really?
I feel like
Okay.
60% of it is strictly by being turned sideways.
Oh.
And I can't measure that,
Yeah.
but I spend so many days of the week just being like, they turned the bass sideways and that invented rock bass. Someone turned it sideways and then you got Black Sabbath.
You gotta figure out who turned it sideways.
I think it was Leo Fender, frankly.
Oh, okay.
Or he came up with the idea of having it sideways. But then also who was like, it's sideways and now I can get funky. You know what I mean? You can't really do
'cause you
slap
can
bass with
move
a
more.
upright. Who was like, I
Yeah.
mean, this is probably verifiable, but who was the first person who like capitalized off of it being sideways? It's like, I'm going to do a completely different thing now.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer, but I'm going to
Sound off in the comments if you
Sound
know
off in
or
the
if you look it up.
comments.
Like, let us know. Like,
Let us
we'll be
know.
watching.
Hurry, hurry.
Go now or forever hold your peace. Not really. Tell us, please. Thank you. Okay. And like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is why I watch your videos, because I'm like, how in the hell did you think about that? Like, that's like when I was a kid, I it's like this, but you do it like all the time, and I don't do it very often. But like, it's like you think, who is the first person to milk a cow? Because why? And who was the first person to drink it? Because I don't think it was the same person. Because the first person's like, dude, what? And then the second person's like, let me taste it. What? like why would you
What a
do
chain
that?
of events.
And
What a
then
chain
who
of
thought
events.
to clean it? Because was it making
Like
people sick?
pasteurized?
Yeah.
They
See, look
doubled
what you're
down
doing.
so many times on the
They were
milk
like,
idea.
yeah. And then who made cheese? Okay, cheese. Let's go. And yogurt and I almost said milk, but
I might know the cheese answer. I think cheese came.
of course you do.
I think cheese came from people transporting their milk in like an animal hide bag or something like that.
And who thought to ride a horse? They're like, I'm gonna make you suffer because I don't want to walk anymore. You know, like good shit. But I mean,
Bold.
crazy. There's so many things that you can think about. That's just like, how does this exist, and who thought about that?
You know what blows my mind?
What?
Refrigeration has only existed for I don't know how long, but
Oh.
it can't have been more than 100 years, like 1925 or something like that. I can't
Yeah.
imagine. Or I guess they probably had ice refrigeration,
Oh,
but like
sure.
a fridge that was plugged into electricity, probably like 1940 or something like that. I don't know. I don't know things that well. I don't know when electricity was
But you
invented.
have interesting ideas, and
I
that's where
have
it begins.
the desire to know things at
Yeah.
the very least.
The most important thing is to ask questions. Yeah.
You know what else I've been thinking about?
What?
This is not as wild as milk train of thought isn't that wild. But I've been thinking about how no musician really knows what they sound like. And part of that is like sort of the body dysmorphia of it, where you listen to yourself back and you're like, whose voice is that? It's not, because you have the vibrations of yourself, so you're hearing yourself, but it's like, you ever been laying against a wall and you feel the bass? It's like that through your own ears. But even past that, every microphone has its own characteristics. Every audio software has its own characteristics. Whatever you put on the signal chain has its own characteristics. So like, if someone records you well in a good vocal chain, it will sound nice, but it won't sound exactly like you. And even then, once you hear it, you won't even know what it sounds like, because you're used to hearing through the vibration of your ears. But get this too. Think about yourself at a live performance. Any good stage, they'll have monitors and they'll be like, oh, can I get some more drums so I can hear it, or can I
Yep.
get like the keys over there so I can figure out what I'm supposed to play? That is for practical purpose. But even then, you don't really know what you sound like because it's not accurate leveling of whatever's going on. And then it's like through the sound mixer, through the speakers,
So true.
plus whatever is bouncing off the walls and back to you.
Yeah.
So even if you are sending a product to a live audience, you don't know what you sound like. And then here's one more. You get more famous. You go to Lollapalooza. You have in-ear monitors.
Yep.
And you ever listen to like, so this is what I'm listening to as I'm in the band Krungbin, and I'm listening to my in-ear monitors. They're like, oh, switch in 3, and they have a click, like click, here's the click, and we're into the chorus. Or they have like no effects on the guitar or bass or something like that. So like, this is the clean audio, and it's then sent to the house and all the effects. So even the people who are famous and have polished their sound, they don't know what they sound like either on a stage.
Wow.
And I'm like, does anyone know what they sound like?
That's the
a
title.
problem, you know?
That's the
'Cause
title.
the whole thing is trying to sound good, or like trying to get a good musical product. But I feel like no one actually knows what they sound like.
Okay. Wait. Okay, do an impression of what you think you sound like, and then we'll go from there. What do you think you sound? Okay, so because like this is kind of a good experiment, because if you talk normal, I don't think that you'll talk normal when you do an impression of yourself. Think about it.
I think if I were trying to do an impression of myself, I'd do exactly what I'm doing, though. You know?
I know, but okay, but like, just try it. Just do it.
Do an impression of myself.
Yeah.
I think, I think I go high and a little quiet off. I'm like, well,
Yes.
I think
okay.
that's what I do. I'm like,
I mean,
well,
yeah.
hold on, like that sort of thing. I
crazy.
think that's what I do.
Okay, wait, and then do an impression of what people say you sound like. This is the most interesting conversation.
Hello, my name is Chandler Jarvis, and I have a very deep voice, and I also enunciate my words quite often.
Yeah.
I think that's what people think.
That's what you be doing, like, and
You talk so proper and like
you I don't know, like, it's so crazy that you speak sentences so like thoroughly, but you're thinking of it as you're saying it. Good shit, you know.
Thank you. You know what it is, or
you know
what I think
is?
it
I'm
is.
sorry.
I had to. I just.
I think that was me talking, actually. I was homeschooled, and my mom was an English teacher, and my dad was a lawyer, and like in his free time went to public speaking meetings, sort of things. Like we're Toastmasters, which is a like club about public speaking. Real cool shit. So
Cool shit. I mean, honestly, it's so cool because I don't meet very many people who talk like you. It's really cool, you know.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think a part of it as well. This is personal background, but I guess that's what podcasts are for.
No, I love it. No.
My parents are from the Caribbean and moved to Florida and then Minnesota. I think they should have stopped at Florida.
Wait, why do you think that they should have stopped it? What you say, Florida?
I think Minnesota is a better state, but Florida has nice weather. So for
I
people
hate
from the
Florida.
Caribbean, I'm like, why did you come to the snowy state? But in every other category,
Like-
Minnesota is a better place to be. So frankly, I'm glad they made it this far. So there's so many layers here, but Antigua, which is where they're from, is a British colony, and I think by having British imperial influence, the societal ideal is speaking like a British person, like proper British English, which makes sense. Like in a lot of ways, proper language is seen as white language in America, in Great Britain, and that sort of thing, and in the colonies of those places. So by being a formal educator and then a homeschooler, and also being people who moved to a place where their dialect or way of speaking is so different from the common way of speaking, like Antiguan dialect is similar to Jamaican dialect, just as a point of reference. There's
Cool.
very much different specific words and specific ways of speaking, and someone from Jamaica would be able to tell that someone from Antigua isn't from Jamaica. But like,
Cool.
broadly speaking, if you were to imagine someone speaking, a Jamaican person speaking somewhat similar to an Antiguan person speaking. So as they moved to Minnesota, to be legible, to be understood, they have to adopt a certain way of speaking. And then as teachers teaching their children, there's a very clear like pipeline between, I mean, a lot of people learn their parents' language, but like especially me, because having been taught by my mother until I was 14, 15, 16, something like that. Probably 14. I went to middle school and high school. But anyway, my point is that to the specifics of being Antiguan in Minnesota, raised by parents and then homeschooled by the same parents, I'm like, oh, that's why I say the words the way that I say the words. You know what I mean?
They did
Or
a
that's
great
my
job,
thought
you
at
know?
least.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
I'll tell him you said that.
Yay. Yeah, because, I don't know. Yeah, I've always thought that because I'm just like,
That's pretty cool, dude. I like the way you talk.
I like it.
yeah, it's great. I was going to say something. Wait. Do they talk like you, or is it like even more so different?
My friends who have met them say that they sound British,
Oh, cool.
which
Okay.
I don't really hear, but I hear a difference in the way that they speak. And it's not a British accent, but the closest thing I could think of to tell someone would be like 25% of a British accent, but not, sort of. And then when they're speaking to their Antiguan friends and family on the phone, they will slip back into their Antiguan dialect. And I'm like, I know half the words you're saying.
Oh,
because
really?
Yeah, like, I mean, I can't speak much of it. And the interesting thing is that it's structurally and grammatically English, but
I was going to ask.
yeah, imagine like how much slang someone from Florida would have versus someone from Minnesota.
Okay.
It's like maybe a 10% difference. So you're like, oh, you say different words for gas station and soda, and for a bonfire you have slang words for that. It's like that, except 40% of the words are different. So you're like, oh, I don't know what you mean when you say gas station or bonfire or beach. I'm like, I actually have no idea. You have to tell me that. You're in the in group, I'm in the out group. But yeah.
Sam's from New York, and he taught me a few of the slang words from there. Guess what this means? It's brick outside.
You know, I know that one.
Damn it!
I can't play along.
What does it mean? Tell the audience.
Cold as hell.
Yeah. I don't know if I can't think of another one, but when we found out where we were from, we would do that to each other. We'd be like, guess what this means? Like,
Confuse him.
it's great.
My favorite regional slang that I can think of is, I think people from Philly call a snow cone water ice. So like, I gotta go get a peach water ice or something like that.
That's so funny.
That's real cute.
That
You
is
got that.
like, it's very descriptive.
Mm-hmm,
You know? Is there anything that you would like to leave the audience with before we wrap up this incredible interview?
The two things I want to leave the audience with. 3 things. 2 of these no one's going to care about, and one of them is good and useful.
All right.
The first one is music production tip. You can just add a layer of white noise or rain sound, and then if you have a mechanism to sidechain your kick to that layer, and it will punch through, and it will create a moment of silence in that like constant layer of white noise.
Okay.
And it will make that sidechain more apparent, because the contrast of having a constant noise and then something punching through it will sound good. That's something that I do often. I think everyone could benefit from it, or maybe a few people could benefit from it. The other thing is, you can, if you're listening to like JPEG Mafia or Jai Paul, who are producers who I like, who you should check out. And they do that thing where they have just the deepest of sidechain or K-Tronada. You ever listen to K-Tronada or house music and they just have like a kick that is making everything else just like smush down? Are you familiar?
No.
Let's take a quick pause. I want to play a song for you. Is
All
that
right.
okay? I just pulled up Be Your Girl by K-Tronada for an
I
example of
need to
sidechain
send
for
me that.
Jazicality.
Thank you.
I will send that to you. I almost don't want to share my secret sauce, but the way you can do that is make a copy of your kick, turn it all the way down, and then just add a little hair of it. So it's like the tiniest, almost silent kick. In fact, it should be
Really?
inaudible.
Okay.
And then get a compressor,
Okay.
set it up to sidechain, and set it up to sidechain everything, because that's fun. Sidechain your melody, sidechain your vocal, sidechain the kitchen sink.
Side chain.
Exactly. And then set the threshold on your compressor so that it's almost at the very bottom so it can pick up that tiny kick. And then what that does is the sidechain mechanism is separate from your real kick. So you have your kick doing your kick stuff, just acting as an instrument. You have your silent kick acting as a trigger to your sidechain compressor.
I'm imagining it. Hello.
I love it. I love it.
I'm about to do this when I get home.
I highly recommend. And then what that allows you to do is you can tune your real kick however you want. You can turn it up, you can turn it down.
Okay.
Because if you use your actual kick, then it's connected to a compressor and you have to change the compressor every time. But you're offloading it onto this silent kick that just acts as a trigger mechanism, and it will match up to the kick because you copied the kick and then you just turn it down. That's my tip. My last piece of advice, which is more widely accessible, more widely useful. I think everyone who has the capability to do so should buy a cheap bike off of Facebook Marketplace and then take it to Flanders Bros in Uptown or anywhere else
Not
and
sponsored.
get it fixed for $30 because that's how much they charged me, and that's a great price. And then they should ride all across the city, because the thing that I've learned recently is it takes the same amount of time to bike somewhere as it does to drive somewhere most of the time because of
Really?
city traffic.
Oh,
Yeah.
true.
And the
Right
bike
about that.
lanes are fairly comfortable and fairly well organized for people. So I love biking. Yeah.
He just found out a couple days ago how much he likes biking.
This is true.
I thought it was so great, though. Biking's
Maybe
amazing, yes.
last shout out to Alex and Lydia. You
Yes.
know Alex and Lydia for peer pressuring me into buying bicycles. I won't give their handles because they don't use Instagram. They've broken free.
They've broken. Oh my gosh, that's right.
One more thought. Thank you very much for
Hilarious, dude.
hosting me
Oh, wait, yes.
on this podcast. I've been looking forward to doing this, but I told Michaela, I was like, I'm not gonna do it unless you do it first, because
Yes.
I don't
yeah.
want to step on her coattails or whatever.
Oh, I
like,
get it,
want
yeah.
you to do that thing because it's cool, not because, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
Not like, what's the thought? I wanted to give her a free opportunity to express herself without
Absolutely.
having it be connected to my existence in that space, you know?
I get that. That's really sweet.
Thank you.
But yeah, thank you. Thank you for being on the show. We're happy to have you here and all of your thoughts. They're so, like, you could really think about this stuff for a long time. So keep it up, man. Like, whatever you want to do it. You know, if you want to bike, you bike. If you want to post very interesting stuff on Instagram, you do that. Because somebody's going to want to talk to you. Oh, my God. Somebody's going to want to talk about it. Because the first time I saw one of your videos, I'm just like, I ain't never thought about that. And then you kept doing it. I'm just like, there you go. Because, yeah. And I've just loved seeing you, like, kind of like blow up in a way in the scene. You know what I mean? Like, people are calling you, you know. I'm seeing you more on posts. So keep it up. Yeah.
Thank you.
Keep going outside, you know.
Zooming around. I'll be biking to places.
Oh, my God.
That's all I'll get there.
As long as you're outside, I'm all for it. Yeah, because, anybody out there who stays home all the time and wants to get out, figure out what you want to go to and go to it, you know? Stop putting it off. Finally press send on that button and be like, I'm going to be there, and I promise you it's for real. Yeah.
A thing that I've found, this may be opening up another topic.
I was literally go on.
I suffer from social anxiety, and I find that thinking about going to a place, this could be not true for many people, but like thinking about going to a place is harder than actually going. And I can always go home. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's nice to like, if I have the capability, I'm like, maybe this might stink, or I can imagine bad scenarios that could come from like being vulnerable by leaving the house or heading to this event. But most times I'm like, oh, I actually enjoy being here and it's fine. And then I'm out of energy and I can go home. You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm definitely a homebody. I present as an extrovert, but I'm really an introvert. And I get too many energies at once, and then I'm done, bro. I'm out. I do love people though, and I love really hard, and that's another reason I get so exhausted, because then I start I don't know, I start overthinking, and then I'm just like, damn, I could have been at home chilling with my cat, watching court TV, like judging people, like I was kidding. But yeah, the human experience is something that's not linear, just like healing isn't linear. So be easy on yourself, you know. Oh, thank you. The little snaps. We love those, Mr. Krabs.
Money.
No, I'm kidding. But yeah, give yourself grace. Enjoy those moments that you go out, and don't be hard on yourself for the moments that stink, because, you know, it's a part of life, and you're going to find your village, and you're going to be okay, you know? Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much again for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Make sure that you go follow Chandler Jarvis at Chandler Jarvis 123 on Instagram, and Chanjar on SoundCloud. Make sure you go buy his album on Bandcamp. Do you have the same name?
It's a good idea.
If you go to his Instagram, they're both there in the link. So go to his link tree, and then it has both the SoundCloud and the Bandcamp on there. I just checked it out. But yeah, he's so great. And make sure you check out the next video, because he's gonna show us some of his beats. So click on the next video. It's gonna be on the end screen right here somewhere. All right. See you in the next video. Peace.
Musicality Mondays, Liddy Mondays, Liddy Mondays, with Jazicality Mondays.